at this point, as the CSR, I have completed my duties of tracking the email as a lead and putting any notes. And the next step really is for me to assign this to the available loan officer. In this case, I have created a sample user called loan officer 1, and at this point the CSR assigns that lead to the loan officer. The CSR within their Outlook can also access their dashboards, and they can look at their own leads that they need to process furthermore. To make the demo easier, I've actually logged in to the web client as the loan officer user. So if we switch over to the loan officer user, you can see I'm logged in as loan officer, and I've got my dashboard as the loan officer dashboard, and I can see that there's a lead assigned to me in my queue per se. In this case, we're not using queues in this scenario, so I'm looking at leads that are actually assigned to me. We would also have a workflow that would send an email to the loan officer asking about or telling them that they are assigned a lead. So as the loan officer, I open the lead. I look at any details I've got available to me. I can look at the email, the originating email, and pull that up and look at the detail, get a little bit of background. And I'm going to do a couple of things here. First of all, now that I have that information, I'm going to actually log a call for the lead. In this case, we're going to assume that we tried to call the lead and we were not able to reach. So called lead and left message. So that's a completed phone call. And I wasn't able to reach the client, so what I want to do is also do a follow-up email. And I've created an email template so that the communication can be standardized for that follow-up activity. And there are a few ways that we can actually do that. One of them is just sending an email and selecting the template. Another way, which is a sort of a shortcut here, you can say run a workflow, and I have a workflow that sends out that email to that lead. So we will go ahead and run that workflow on this lead, and we can actually see here that it has run. And if we refresh this activities list here, I can see the email that was sent out. If I can open that email, and you'll see that it has values from the lead record inserted inside the email. And this is just a sample template, obviously, but you can actually put in dynamic fields into that template. That way your communication is standardized, but it's also specific to that user, that lead. So right now on the lead record, I have made a phone call with no luck, and I sent out a follow-up email. As part of the process that was identified, the next step for me is to, as the loan officer, I send this back to the CSR team. In this case, the originating CSR was CSR1, which is that Outlook user. I'm going to go ahead and assign it to CSR1. And I can, at this point, on my dashboard, as you can see, I don't have any more leads. Realistically, you would have several leads that you're actually working through in your list, but in this example, I just happen to have one lead, and that went away from me to the back to the CSR. So let's go back to our CSR user here, and again, the CSR is typically working off of their open leads and their upcoming activities. Those are the two things that they are managing. We can have a basic dashboard. I mean, this can be formatted differently very easily as well. In this case, we're not using queues, so again, I'm looking at my open leads, and I can see here that this lead is now assigned back to me. So when this is assigned back to me, I can come in here, open the lead, and I can see that the initial phone call was made, an email was sent out. I can see all of the history of this lead as well. So my job right now is to call this person, and as part of the process, I can do that up to 4 times, after which I'm going to disqualify this. So I can come in here and let's see, second call, and we're going to assume that there was no answer again. Left voicemail, and I'm going to mark that as complete. But one more step that I'm going to do here is actually go ahead and schedule the next phone call as well. Now, this could be automated if we had some rules around when this could be scheduled automatically based on some kind of rule. But in this case, I'm just going to schedule it for tomorrow, sometime in the morning, and I'm going to save and close. So when I go to my lead record and I look at the activities, as you can see here, I've got all of the completed ones in the past, and I have my follow-up one. And if I go back to my dashboard and refresh, you can see that I've got my follow-up call, and this view happens to be sorted by date, so I can see my next follow-up call coming up, and presumably I would have several of these follow-up calls that are scheduled, and I can just keep working off of this list. In the meantime, my leads are also assigned to me. So let's say that we have the next follow-up call, and when I make this call, I am able to actually reach the person. At this point, what I want to do is actually go ahead and open that lead. And this phone call, I'm going to go ahead and mark as complete because I just hung up with that person. And what I want to do is, or I transferred the lead to the loan officer, and I need to go ahead and assign this lead now to the loan officer because the responsibility is now outside of my responsibility, because as the CSR I have completed my duties. So in a basic nutshell, this is how the information gets back and forth between the two roles. This demo was just showing the mechanics of how that works within Outlook as well as the web client, and how the ownership and activities are being tracked. But there would be, upon further discussions with your team, we'd need to come up with maybe a CSR manager role or a loan officer's management roles, and what they would like to see as far as perhaps neglected leads or leads that have been opened a long time ago, or immediate ones, or some kind of a priority perhaps could be assigned to leads as well. So those are all possibilities we can talk about. Some of the other things that you'll notice also are around queues, the use of queues. Basically, when I was lobbing these leads between the two teams, I was assigning it to a specific lead or assigning it to a specific CSR. What you could instead do is assign the lead to a queue or add it to a queue, and the first person who's available to work on the queue, whether it be CSR or a loan officer, could simply view that queue. Let's say we were a loan officer, so I can go into my dashboard, or I can go into my queues, and I can see all of the available leads to be worked on. I can see all the leads that I'm working on right now. As a loan officer, I could go into a different view where I can see, here's the loan officer queue, here are the ones I'm working on, here are the available ones, and I can select any of the leads that may be in this queue and click work on, and that basically assigns that to me to work on. And when I'm done with it, I can go ahead and release it. So that would be how the queue functionality would work. Again, it would provide similar functionality, but depending on the specific requirements, we could go either way. And again, it does mean the mechanics of how you work through a lead will change depending on each approach, but I wanted to basically give you guys a preview of what this would be. And that pretty much concludes our demo here, and I will touch base with you guys at some other point. Thanks.